Do you want to learn more about the real Belize and listen to locals and expat stories that are actually living here in Belize? Well, you're in the right place right now. You're listening to Belize Talk Radio, and I'm your host, Macarena Rose. Well, hello today, and welcome to Belize Talk Radio. And as always, I'm Macarena Rose, your host, and an honor and privilege to be on the island of San Pedro, which is the center of town of Ambergris Caye. And it is the #1 destination where people go in our whole country to go diving and snorkeling and paddleboarding. And so my dear friend Robbie, you've seen videos with Robbie, you know about Chuck and Robbie's dive shop, but he's like, you've got to meet my friend Derek because he's doing paddleboarding here. And I saw pictures of some people doing yoga on the paddleboard, and come to find out, Derek's from Saskatchewan, where my family's from, and I'm like, my long lost relative, so we have to do a show with you, Derek. Thank you. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you very much.
And how exciting, you're doing paddleboarding here. What made you think of paddleboarding? I mean, in Belize, that we didn't have it really. There's some various places that have a little bit of it, but there's nobody doing it like a big business like you are, like helping with instruction. And in other words, Robbie says I can even do it because he says you'll be able to teach me how to do it right and feel comfortable out there, which is very important for me. What made you think of this idea to come and live in Belize and do this?
Well, I moved down here about 17 years ago, and I initially came down as a scuba instructor, and we were here for about 5 years or so, and we went back to Canada. And about a couple of years ago I came back down again. We visited every year. And I noticed that no one was doing paddleboarding down here, and it's really, really popular up in Canada and the States. Everybody does it. You're doing all kinds of things on it now, like you're saying yoga, and it's a lifestyle sport. So I came down and I talked to Robbie, and he loved the idea as well. And he said, if you want to use my dock, by all means. So we set up a shop here, and about a year ago I started it and haven't looked back, and it's been fantastic.
How can you look back? We're in Belize, right? You know, I've been here almost 12 years and I'm still like going, pinch me, I live in this beautiful country. Yes. It's fabulous. And to meet people, you know, you meet people that you just like immediately resonate with. Besides, he's from Saskatchewan. Of course I am going to love him and adore him. But there is a familiarity here of people because they're so opening. And you know, I like that I don't feel like an expat. It's very cool actually to be part of the community. But I want you to show us your paddle boards. You want to see this, viewers, and if you're listening to this on Belize Talk Radio, you want to log into the website, go to the Facebook page and see it on Belize Talk Radio's Facebook page so you can see more of these videos of these things. So tell us, what is the difference? Some are really tall. Some are really tall and some are a little bit shorter. What's the difference?
Well, we brought in 3 different styles of paddle boards. We have a 10.5-foot board, which is an all-around board, and that's what most people use for going out to the reef or just kicking around the dock. And they're very wide, super stable, and great for your everyday user. We also got in an 11.5-foot board, which is a little bit wider, even more stable, and ideal for yoga. So for those people that want to do any sort of fitness activities like that, these are fantastic. So what I do is I tether the leash to the board and then put it on just at the end of the dock, and people will do yoga on those, and they work fantastic. We also brought down some really, really big ones. These are called tour race boards, and they're 12.5 feet long. And the idea is I want to introduce racing to the local community as well as eventually get it in the international community. I think Belize is a fantastic place for paddleboarding, especially in Ambergris Caye where the reef protects us, and for the most part, even though there's wind, it's a very safe environment to do paddleboarding. And like Robbie was telling you, anybody can do it. I can teach a 4-year-old to do it or a 90-year-old to do it. It doesn't require a whole lot of instruction, and once you get the basics down, it's such a good sport, very healthy for you, and everybody says it's all about the core. So,
all about the core, which is why the yoga people want to use the board, of course, right? I have a feeling you're going to need a lot more boards soon.
Yeah.
And the fact that you've done this, it is so amazing to come to Belize and have this business on this gorgeous island. And you picked a perfect location, and the fact that you're with Chuck and Robbie on the same dock, wow, that's really yummy. How do they find you? Let's say they're going to Belize, they want to go diving or they want to go snorkeling, they're like, what? We can see Derek now in paddleboard. How do they find you?
We're just north of town in the area called Boca del Rio, and we're on Chuck and Robbie's dock. And Chuck and Robbie have the dive shop, and I'm just on the other side of that. And familiar yourself with here, the closest dock that everybody seems to know is Wet Willie's.
Yes.
So we're just a couple of docks north of that. It's super easy to find.
And how do they find you online if they want to say, well, we want to book with you, or we want to find out prices, and we want to find out, you know, what we bring in? Because a lot of people like to come in and visit, and they bring stuff for people.
Right. Yeah,
How do they find
absolutely.
you? That's true.
We do have a website. It's called Big Sup, B-I-G-S-U-P for stand-up paddle, Big Sup Belize, and we have a website there, a Facebook page as well. So we're really easy to find.
Big Sup is your Facebook page too?
Yes.
I said to Robbie, I said, we're gonna big up you. We're gonna do a big, and you're Big Sup. That's perfect.
Right.
B-I-G-S-U-P.
Right. And you can find us on there, or you can just call here at the dive shop, and it's pretty easy.
Okay. So now you know we have paddleboarding here in Belize. You've got to meet wonderful Derek. Come in and give it a try, because I certainly am. And I'm going to go now, and I want to get to know my cousin, my long-lost cousin from Saskatchewan a little bit better. Thank you for listening to Belize Talk Radio. It's an honor and privilege, as always, to be your host. And thank you, Derek, so much for being on the show today.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Till then.
Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo es para dar la alegría y cosas buenas. Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena. Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo es para dar la alegría y cosas buenas. Dala tu cuerpo alegría.